On a recent episode of The View, the typically composed Woopy Goldberg dropped the niceties and went full throttle on Meghan Markle, delivering a blistering takedown that has since gone viral across social media platforms. What began as a routine panel discussion quickly turned into a reality check for the Duchess of Sussex when Woopy, never one to mince words, called out Meghan's ongoing victimhood campaign and questioned her authenticity, her Hollywood rebranding, and her frequent invocation of race and royalty in shaping her public image. The moment was raw, unscripted, and undeniably real, and the studio audience sat in stunned silence before erupting in applause. Woopy didn't tiptoe around the topic. We've given her time. We've heard the stories. But at what point do you stop blaming everyone else and take accountability? She asked, referencing Meghan's consistent narrative of being misunderstood, attacked, and oppressed first by the British monarchy, and now allegedly by Hollywood. Goldberg pointed out that Meghan has had unprecedented platforms from Oprah to Netflix to tell her side. Yet every version feels increasingly detached from reality. This isn't a docuseries anymore. It's a performance, Woopy said bluntly. The co-host continued, highlighting a pattern of contradictions in Meghan's claims. She says she didn't Google Harry before dating him, but she knew exactly what she was walking into. You don't marry into one of the most powerful families in the world and act shocked when there are rules, Woopy added, referring to Meghan's repeated statements that she was unprepared for royal life. It's like going into the Marines and being surprised they make you do push-ups. Ana Navarro, another co-host, attempted to offer a more balanced view, suggesting that Meghan had faced harsh scrutiny and racism. But Woopy wasn't having it. Of course, racism exists, but not everything is about race. Sometimes it's about ego. Sometimes it's about being tone-deaf. Sometimes it's about using your own story to build a brand, and then acting surprised when people call you out on it, she snapped. The studio gasped. Meghan Markle, once the symbol of modern royalty, was being stripped down not by tabloids this time, but by a woman with decades of respect in the entertainment industry. What made Woopy's takedown especially brutal was how rooted it was in facts. She referenced Meghan's now-defunct Spotify deal, which ended abruptly despite a reported $20 million contract. You got the bag and dipped, Woopy stated. No follow-through, no consistency, just sound bites, victimhood, and branding. She even brought up the controversy around the Archetypes podcast and how Spotify's own executives allegedly labeled Meghan as not a team player, adding to the growing industry whispers that Markle is difficult to work with behind the scenes. And then came the knockout blow. Woopy questioned Meghan's sincerity about her children. You want privacy, but you trademark your kids' names, write books about them, and use them in your narrative. You can't have it both ways, she argued. Either you're a private citizen or you're a public figure, not a hybrid who flips the switch depending on whether there's money or sympathy to gain. Social media exploded within hours. Clips from the podcast were reposted by millions, with hashtags like Woopy versus Meghan, Truth Hurts, and The View Gets Real trending on X, formerly Twitter. While some defended Meghan, a surprising number applauded Goldberg for saying what many have felt but been too cautious to vocalize. Public sentiment, long shifting since the post-Oprah honeymoon phase, now seems to be reaching a tipping point. And it's not just talk. Insiders close to The View revealed that producers were initially concerned the segment might cross a line, but when audience feedback poured in overwhelmingly in support of Woopy's candor, they allowed the full version to air. People are tired of walking on eggshells, one insider told Variety. Woopy said what needed to be said. Meghan, as of now, has not issued a response, a silence that in itself speaks volumes. But damage control might already be underway. Sources close to her reportedly urged her to avoid engaging with Woopy directly, fearing it would worsen the optics. After all, Meghan has long positioned herself as a feminist, a progressive, a changemaker. But when someone with Woopy's cultural clout, a black woman, a Hollywood veteran, and an EGOT winner questions that narrative, it's not easy to dismiss it as simple tabloid noise. The truth is this: Meghan Markle is no longer untouchable. And while she may continue to frame her story through memoirs and media deals, audiences are increasingly demanding more than polished speeches and curated aesthetics. They want authenticity, humility, and substance. And for Whoopi Goldberg and millions who tuned in, the Duchess of Sussex is falling far short of the mark. Whether Meghan will fire back or retreat into silence remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. The View just became the arena where the fairy tale veneer finally began to crack. And that crack isn't going unnoticed. Hollywood insiders are already whispering that Meghan's brand, once rooted in progressive values, modern royalty, and empowerment, is rapidly shifting into something far more divisive. Where she once commanded intrigue, she now invites skepticism. Where she once held the media spotlight with grace, she now faces it with calculated defiance. Whoopi's takedown wasn't just a celebrity opinion, it echoed a wider fatigue with Meghan's relentless self-positioning as a misunderstood icon rather than a participant in her own downfall. Even seasoned PR analysts are calling this moment a potential turning point. When respected voices like Whoopi Goldberg call you out, it becomes harder to hide behind the media villain narrative, said one LA-based strategist. It tells the public it's not just the tabloids. It's people from your own world who are fed up. Meghan may still have her supporters, but the tide is shifting. This wasn't a roast from a comedian or a tweet from a troll. This was a televised reality check, loud, public, and impossible to ignore.